Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to Team Forbidden's YouTube page again. I am Andrew the Collector here once again with a deck profile, again for Link formats. This one I think is going to be, I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but I still think it's going to be competitive for, enough for Link format. It is Superheavy's. You might remember a deck profile that I did on it, I want to say over a year or so ago. I revamped the entire thing and focused more on it synchro summoning with itself, rather than using it based on your opponents most of the time. So let's get right down into it. Obviously, 3 big Banky. You should all know that they, most of them, they can attack while in defense, and their defense is applied to the battle damage. So when he is summoned, he can be switched to defense, and he has 1000 attack as an earth, so obviously Giant Rat can get him out, and when he's summoned, go to defense and go from there. And he's a level 8.
Also known as, for those who remember, Total Events Shogun, the archetype.
Next we have Super Heavy Samurai Giga Gloves. When this card is sent to the graveyard in any way, you can look at the top 5 cards on your deck without showing your opponent and arrange them in any order. And while this card's in the graveyard, if your opponent declares a direct attack, you can banish this, activate the top card, show it to your opponent. If it's a super heavy, add it to your hand, and your opponent's attacking monster's attack becomes 0 permanently. So yeah, it's super broken. Next we have 3 scales. Can be special summoned to your side of the field if your opponent controls 2 or more monsters, so he's pretty much the Cyber Dragon of the deck. And when he's normal or special summoned, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Super Heavy from your graveyard.
It's really more like that Fiend Mega Cyber.
Yeah, there you go. Then next, probably one of the best tuners, probably one of the best tuners is Battle Ball. Level 2, basically all you need to know about him is that you can synchro summon with your opponent's monsters, but it is an effect activation and it does target, so keep a lookout for that, because there are decks that can prevent that, like Cosmos.
Chaos Max
2, cards that can't be targeted basically, or cards that are unaffected. But still, really good, run 3 no less. And probably, I think, one of the best tuners in the deck, and the new one, is Samurai Fist. He has 2 effects, but the one that I'm focusing on is his Level Eater effect. He's a level 2 tuner, and while he's in the graveyard and you control a 6 Samurai synchro monster on your side of the field, you lower that monster's effect by level by 1 and special summon this from the graveyard. But you can only use that once per turn, which is the niche of it. But again, really, really, really good, and necessary for an OTK that this deck is fully capable of. And next we have 3 Flutists. You can attribute this on your side of the field to special summon a Super Heavy from your hand, and while he's in the graveyard, and when your opponent targets a Super Heavy you control with a card, targets it with a card effect, banish this from your graveyard, negate that effect, and destroy it. Then 3 Super Heavy Soul Piercer can become an equipped card to Super Heavy you control from your hand, and if this card's sent to the graveyard, you can search any Super Heavy monster from your deck to your hand. So let's say that you have out, like, let's say a tuner, and you're about to synchro summon, equip this to him to that tuner, synchro with the other monster on the field, and you get the synchro monster out, and you can search with Soul Piercer. Then next up we have 3 Super Heavy Magnets. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Super Heavy from your hand. Then next we have 3 Super Heavy Big, how do you pronounce this? Waraji?
Waraji, maybe?
Yeah, go with that. It's a level 3, and while you control while you have no spells or traps in your graveyard, you can automatically special summon this from your hand. And he also counts as 2 tributes, but no one really does that. Then the only pendulum scale that we have in this is General Carl. He's a scale 8, but we don't pendulum summon. We only use him for his pendulum effect, where if a super heavy monster destroys a monster in battle, it can attack twice in a row. That's one of the things that we use for the OTK. Then next we have 2 Trumpeteer, level 2 tuner that can be special summoned if you if you have no spells and traps in your graveyard. 2 super heavy gauntlets. If this card's in your hand and your super heavy samurai monster does battle, you discard this to double its defense, and you can activate both of them at a time for game at once if you can.
Again, it's Total Defense Shogun, the archetype.
Then next we have 2 Soul Horns. While this card's it's an equip monster, so when it's equipped to a super heavy monster, it can attack twice. But the real thing that I use it for is if I control a super heavy monster, I equip it from my hand, and then it has the ability to special summon itself to the side of the field as a level 1. So that's just extra material that you can have right there. And I didn't notice that from last time I had the deck profile, and now I do. It's a necessity at 2. Not 3, too clunky, but 2 is perfect. And one of the helper. I am 1 drum. I'm thinking of taking this out for another gauntlet, because it basically does the same thing, except it's for while it's in the graveyard. Or if you have any suggestions of what should take out for this, go ahead and leave them down. And 1 drum, just in case. It's a level 1 tuner, but if it's destroyed while it's on your side of the field, special summon a super heavy from your graveyard. And then for the rest of our deck, we have 2 giant rat, because they're all earth monsters, and Maxi for draw power.
But Joey, you can't win a duel with all monster cards.
Showed you. Now for the extra deck, probably this one of the best is the newest, the Steam Train King. 48 body while in defense, and it can attack while it's in defense, so that's really cool. And it's a level 12.
Otherwise Ultimate Dragon.
Yep. And once per turn, I can discard up to 2 cards from my hand, and I can destroy that many cards on the field. Also, too, during either player's turn, I can choose to banish all spells and trap cards in both graveyards, and my opponent loses, I think, 200 points for each card removed, so that's really good against, like Paleozoics, for instance, or anything that can recycle spells and traps from the graveyard.
It's super under the radar deck. You wonder why more people aren't playing it.
Yeah, and he's also the main guy you go in for the OTK, because if you get this out with Core or the Horns and attack twice, that's game over, basically. Plus with Gauntlet, doubling his attack to over 8,000. And next, probably my favorite synchro in the deck is Warlord. 38 booty. Can attack and defense, obviously. And once per turn during either player's turn, you can take 1 spell or trap card from your opponent's deck and set it to your side of the field.
Graveyard, you mean?
Graveyard, yes, sorry. And obviously it can't be activated during that turn, but once it leaves the field, it's banished. This is really good. When you can special summon this really well with
Battle Ball.
With Battle Ball, really good against any deck that uses level 8s like Blue Eyes or anything like that. So yeah, really necessity at 3, no less.
Speaking of Train King, if they don't have a miscellaneous source, you can just Battle Ball their Ultimate Conductor Tyranno if they don't respond to your summon.
Exactly. For the level 9, we have Beast Kaibi or Kibi. Yes, thank you. It's a level 9, and while it's in and it can attack in defense, obviously. This card gains 900 defense for each special summon monster your opponent controls. So yeah, it's just a big, really good beat stick. Another good potential for OTKs.
Andrew, scratch cut the thing out about Ultimate Conductor, because they're just going to chain to Battle Ball and then it will go off.
Okay. Now for the level 8, we have Ninja. 28 defense, and once per turn you can destroy 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls, and you lose 500 points. Level 7 is a Stealth Ninja. When this card is destroyed by, I think it's destroyed in Yeah, once per turn during the next standby phase after this card was destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it. And you can have its defense and it can attack directly. And for the last super heavy synchros are the level 6s. When this card is special summoned, you destroy all spells and trap cards your opponent controls. Alright, and for the regular synchro monsters, we have one Brionac. I like using him other than other 6s because he got me out of jams more times than I can count. And obviously we have 2 Barkion and 1 Beast. I'm thinking of doing just 1 Barkion and 1 Beast, but I don't really go into level 5s that much, so I think that this is a good ratio. And then obviously 1 Decode Talker. It's not too necessary because the only times I ever go into synchros is once, and if I get out more than once per turn, then I usually use other synchro monsters as that material. Long story short, I usually only have 1 synchro monster out at a time, but I have this here because I'd rather have it than I'd rather have it and not use it than rather not have it when I need it. So yeah, just 1 Decode Talker, and that's it. Alright, that is my deck profile for Super Heavy Samurais. Please comment if you have any suggestions, as usual, for any future videos or any changes you want to make to the deck. And this is Andrew the Collector signing out. We'll catch you guys later.